Hey, so today I wanted to make a video because I've been trying to learn Finnish for about 2.5 years now. Most of that time I've been using an app called Duolingo, which you might already know or be familiar with or might have used. I think it's definitely something that I would recommend for anyone trying to learn Finnish. It really helped me have like a good base of vocabulary, and I started to learn patterns in the Finnish language without specifically learning the rules. There's quite a lot of rules in the Finnish language, and I think if you get quite perfectionistic and focused on the rules, it might actually stop you from progressing, or maybe even might make you want to stop altogether. So it's kind of helped me to learn rules without getting too focused on them specifically. Having said that, it didn't really allow me to have conversations. So I should also say, like, it's a free resource, and there aren't that many free resources or resources generally outside of Finland to learn the Finnish language. So again, that's another positive. But despite having quite a base of vocabulary and sort of learning general patterns, patterns rather than rules, just sort of general patterns, I was not able to have conversations. Even after using Duolingo for like 2 years, I could say very basic sentences. Some of the sentences I could say were not useful at all. Not at all. But about 2 months ago, I went on a Finnish course in Finland, and kind of suddenly I was able to start having basic level conversations with my wife. I was sort of essentially able to put together the words and vocabulary that I'd learned on Duolingo with the Finnish language rules, which is basically the reason why I couldn't use it or understand it, because I didn't really know how things were being applied or how to apply things myself. There are also kind of other issues. So there's a spoken language in Finnish, which then changes the words that you might already know to things that aren't so familiar. And conjugation of the words in general will change the words. So potentially you don't understand the words, what they mean anymore, or you might not even recognize the words specifically if they change so much. But having learnt these rules, I kind of want to teach, or try my best to teach. I probably will do a bad job, but I try my best to teach a rule that I learned that really helped me to start putting sentences together and having basic conversations. And that rule is prepositions. So we have prepositions in the English language. So hopefully it's something that you already kind of know. You know how to use it. You just don't know the rules in the Finnish language of kind of exactly the word endings basically. But you know how to use it in a sentence. Finnish also has postpositions, but I don't think it's generally that useful, or it's not really even that common to use in a sentence, whereas prepositions are a lot more common. So the rule for prepositions, there are basically 3 key questions in prepositions that are the core to this rule. So missä, where you are or where something is. Mihin, where you are going or where something is going. And mistä, where you are coming from or where something is coming from. So missä is something that, or where you are. Mihin is where you are going. And mistä is where you are coming from in the context of your movement. Or it could be an object, okay? So there are 3 key questions that you need to answer, and this rule will help you answer these questions. I'll try and keep it as simple as possible, but within these 3 questions, you can divide your answers up into 2 endings. So you will either have an S ending or an L ending. The S ending refers to being in an enclosed space, or sort of in something, in a space, whereas the L ending refers to open spaces or flat surfaces, right? That will generally, 70-80% of the time, you will understand how to use this rule and how to answer those 3 questions. So I'll kind of just go into some examples. So missä, if I ask a question, missä sinä olet? Where are you? Missä sinä olet? You can say, minä olen talossa. I am in a house. Minä olen talossa. And it might actually help you learn the rule, but missä ends in SSR, or SSA for people that are English speakers. SSA, you'll probably initially think of it as SSA, and you respond to the SSA question with an SSA answer. So, missä sinä olet? Minä olen talossa. I am in the house. I'm in a house. Talossa, missä, talossa, missä, talossa. So hopefully that kind of helps you with that first one. That's probably the easiest one to learn. Then, like I said, with the flat surface, you have an L ending. So instead of saying minä olen talossa, you can say minä olen, let's say Market Square. Market Square is a tori. So minä olen torilla, torilla, torilla. Minä olen torilla. Missä sinä olet? Minä olen torilla. So you go from tori, torilla. You add an LLA, LLA, depending on the word. Again with talossa, house is talo. So you end in SSA, talossa, talossa. Missä sinä olet? Minä olen talossa. So hopefully that's quite simple. If you are in somewhere, in a place, on a place, you will end in SSA or LLA, depending on whether it's a flat surface or an enclosed surface. Hopefully that makes sense. The next one is mihin. Where are you going to, or where is something going? Mihin. So you could ask a question, missä sinä menet? Where are you going? Missä sinä, missä sinä menet? Where are you going? And you could say, minä menen taloon. Minä menen taloon. So I'm going to the house. Minä menen taloon. Now hopefully, if you know the word talo from the last example where we said talossa, talo has gone from talo to talon. And all you need to do to make it fit this sentence is to add the end vowel that you've used, talo, talon. So you add another of the same vowel and then an N on the end. And maybe you can learn this again through the ending of mihin is a vowel and an N. Potentially you can, although it doesn't apply to the L version, but it might potentially help you. I should say this doesn't apply all the time. Mihin is probably the one where there are some changes to words, especially words that end in two vowels, which mean that they don't specifically fit this pattern. But generally, for the most case, these rules will help you, and people will understand what you're saying even if you get it wrong or not quite right. It doesn't fit the rule specifically, but you try with these word endings, you hopefully will be understandable, comprehensible. So the L version of this is we used tori in the first example. So we were torilla, I am in the tori. So missä sinä menet? Where are you going? Missä sinä menet? Minä menen torille. Minä menen torille. Now, torille is probably something that you'll hear a lot as kind of a joke or a meme, or seriously. If Finland do anything really, really good, especially let's say ice hockey, if they do really well in ice hockey, people will just say torille, which means we're going to go to the tori, we're going to the market square, everyone's going to have a party and get really drunk and take off their clothes, and have a nice time. So yeah, torille. So the ending is L again. It's not really similar to the S version. So talon and torille, there's not much in common there. So you just sort of have to learn these. But the L version is LLE ending. I could probably give another example. So a street is katu. Minä menen kadulle. The difference here is the T in katu changes to a D in kadulle. In Finnish, the strong consonants will change to softer versions in the Finnish language, and that supposedly makes it easier to say. So minä menen Gadulle. But to make it simple, torille. So if you're going to the tori, I'm going torille. Minä menen torille. So that's going to. And then the last version of this rule, again, I'll try my best to explain it. So mistä, where are you coming from, or where is something coming from? Mistä sinä tulet, from where are you coming or have you come? Mistä sinä tulet? You can say minä tulen. What was our example? Talo. So you say talosta, and that actually kind of fits. So mistä talosta? Minä tulen talosta. Mistä sinä tulet? Where are you coming from? Minä tulen talosta. So that kind of, it works, it fits. And actually the L version of mistä is kind of easier than the mihin as well. So with the tori version, you will say mistä sinä tulet? Mistä sinä tulet? Where are you coming from? Minä tulen torilta. 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 And that fits kind of with mistä. And so if you can learn these rules, again, I say that like it's easy, but if you can learn these rules, this will generally help you understand kind of the directions of things, where something is moving, where it's coming from, where it's going to. These rules will really help you. So especially if someone asks you, like, where are you? You know that it's probably going to be an SSA, well, it's going to be an SSA or an LLA ending. You just basically have to figure out, am I in an open space or am I in a closed space? So if I'm in the shop, minä olen kaupassa. Minä olen kaupassa. I'm in the shop. There are exceptions to the rule. So like if I'm in a park, I am also puistossa, which it doesn't really fit because it's an open space. And there might be an example like a train station is a juna asema. Always asema is LLA ending or LL ending, which can be confusing if you say train station. It will be asemalla, even though train station can be indoors. It's a bit confusing, but generally another open space maybe tie is a road. Tiellä, I'm on the road, in the road. And a good, maybe a good or interesting example is maybe like a cupboard. Gapin is a cupboard. You could say something is gapissa. Gapissa is in the cupboard. But you could also say something is gapilla, which is on the cupboard. So even with the cupboard, something can be on the cupboard, on the flat surface, or you could say something is in the cupboard, enclosed inside the cupboard. You could equally say I'm coming from the cupboard, so gapista, I'm coming from inside of the cupboard, or gapilta, if you're kind of coming from the general area. And that also works with if I'm going from a shop or from inside of a shop. Kaupasta, kaupalta. So again, that kind of adds even more context and it's a bit more confusing. But generally, if you know these rules and you can kind of follow these rules, it will help you to kind of start having conversations, especially in terms of where things are moving and how things move. I'm not Finnish. I'm not a Finnish teacher. So there might be things that I've said here that aren't super helpful, or it might not be all correct. So if anyone has any comments or questions, let me know. Or help people in the comments potentially if there are people that have questions. But hopefully that's been useful to anyone, again, that is kind of at a low level and is just wanting to develop their Finnish and start to learn some rules. Obviously, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.